This is Jeffrey Nemhart from the MEC 140 in the Introduction to Robotics class, and this is Lab 6, first one. And this lab is to represent and show to you the motor, the servo motor in action. And as you see, the motor is now moving at 45, 90 degree, 0 degree, and 135, 180 degree angles, rotating through this due to a coating which allows the motor to then rotate the motor. And as you can see how the motor is rotating, hello, this is Jeffrey Nemhart, and this is Lab 6, Part 2 from the MEC 140 Introduction to Robotics class. And what this experiment is to show is how the servo motor is now tied to the potentiometer. As you see, there's a potentiometer set in place, and then there's the servo motor. What is going to happen is that as you turn the potentiometer, as you see, the motor will move in relation to the setting of the potentiometer. So if I turn the potentiometer all the way, the motor turns completely. So if I turn the potentiometer the other way, the motor, as you see, follows. So this is showing you how the motor, the servo motor, is now tied to the positioning of the potentiometer, and they both now have a one-to-one relationship to each other in movement. Hello, this is Jeffrey Nemhart, and this is now Lab 6, Part 3 for MEC 140 Introduction to Robotics. And as you see, now I have replaced the servo motor with a DC motor, and I replaced the potentiometer with a push button. One push button represents reverse, one push button represents forward. And what this is to do is that when the push button is now chosen, the motor will now rotate according to the push button. So this push button we shall push, and it will put the motor in reverse. As long as the button is pushed, the motor goes. As long as the button is pushed, the motor goes in reverse, as you can see. And if we push the other button, the button will push the motor into forward. So what we've seen here is we've created a way for the system to have a forward and a reverse with a DC motor based on the push button. Hello, this is Jeffrey Nemhart, and this is from MEC 140 Introduction to Robotics. This is Lab 6, Part 4, where we're going to now change the buttons to introduce the concept of a while, where the buttons will now create a constant state of either motion or no motion. So right now, everything is not in motion until the button is pushed, and then you'll see forward. This is equivalent of a conveyor, where this will be a start button, and this will essentially be the stop button. So let's start our conveyor. And let's stop our conveyor. So as you see, that one button is a start, one button, once it starts, it stays continuously going until the other button is pressed upon which it stops.